Hello everyone, in this short video I'm going to teach you the basics of C++ syntax as it applies to VEXcode. To start, let's take a look at line 17. All this line is saying is that it's including this file, so all of the code that's in vex.h is just by default right here. You need to keep this in your program because Vex is declaring stuff in this vex.h file that makes the rest of your code work. Next, let's take a look at line 20. This statement is setting the default namespace to Vex. A namespace is basically specifying a group of functions that you'll use a lot in your program. And when you have using namespace Vex, a line like a motor declaration can look more like this, where you're just saying motor and then defining the motor. Whereas without using namespace Vex, you would have to put Vex : in front of motor. But ultimately, you don't really need to worry about this much. It's just important that you know that there's something behind this. So int main is a function declaration, and C++ by default is going to run int main first. You can also use functions for other things that we'll talk about later. Similar to vex.h, this line is doing some more background declarations. In particular, this line is importing your brain and motor declarations, in addition to all your sensors. For the syntax of individual lines, you need to follow the API command reference that's located at this question mark right here. This will tell you where in a typical line of code to add periods, parentheses, and commas. As a general rule for VEXcode, you'll have a motor or sensor name here, followed by a period and then an action name. And inside the parenthesis will be certain variables that define the action. Another important part of syntax is making sure that you include a semicolon at the end of every line. As you can see here, there's semicolons at the end of every line, but not at the end of functions. And finally, I'll go over just a few general things of program housekeeping. When you're inside a loop or a function, you'll want to indent all of the lines inside of here. If you notice, int main and left motor are separated by the distance of one tab. And finally, it's good practice to comment every line in your program. As you can see, at the end of these three action lines, I explain what it does. While it might seem redundant for a small program like this, when you get into a long, several thousand line competition program, it is really helpful. And that's it on syntax. If this video helped you out, please like and subscribe for future content. Thank you.